story I'm going to tell you, okay? So it's a Saturday night. You're out with those 3 friends. One of your friends is the driver. You're sitting in the passenger seat. 2 of your friends are in the back seat. It's a nice night. The weather's great, so the sunroof's open. All the windows are down. You think the music's playing loud? Right? You got the music up, so your favorite song is playing, and you're having a great time. This is a great evening. You've got your life before you, all your dreams, everything is just right before you, and you're just out having a good time without a worry in the world. So you're driving along, maybe somebody's in the back seat, thumping on the back seat with the, with the music. And the next thing you know, you hear brakes screeching. Brakes are screeching, the car's out of control, it's sliding, you don't know what's going on, you're looking over at the driver and she's panicking, everybody's panicking, and boom! You hit a big rock. You grab on, you're jolted, the car starts going upside down, sideways. You're dizzy because you can't tell which side is up, which side is sideways. You can't tell where you're at anymore. Your friend who's driving the car smashes into you, you go upside down. Next thing you know, she flies out the top of the car, and you're looking around and trying to find yourself, and your 2 buddies in the back fly out the back end of the car, and you roll again and again, and finally the car stops and it rests down the embankment. The only problem is that car landed on top of your best friend. September 9th, 2012, this is what happened. That car was on top of my daughter. So it's not an easy story to tell, so I apologize for when I do choke up. My daughter was my best friend. I was single for a lot of years, so she and I were exceptionally close. So this was a pretty hard thing for a mother to grasp. Here's a picture of Tiffany. She went to Mountain View High School. My husband and I walked into your school today, and our hearts kind of did, because we've actually been here and watched her play volleyball. She was a volleyball star with Mountain View. She played front, a lot of spikes, a lot of kills. The girl was on fire. She had a huge heart for people. She's the type of girl that would see someone begging on the side of the road and she would take them over and buy them some fast food or go buy them fast food and bring it to them. She was that kind of person. She was the kind of girl that would drop anything to go to be with her friends. So here she was playing that summer. This picture here was her, one of her senior pictures. And it's an important picture to me because I was standing behind a friend of mine who was doing her senior pictures, and I actually was crying then too. I don't always cry, but I was just so proud of the young woman that she had become. Inside and out, she just was an amazing young lady and had college in front of her. Who's looking forward to turning 18? Yeah? Don't we all go, oh, I can't wait to turn 18 because I'm going to do this, and this, right? She didn't make it to 18. She missed it by 3 months. And this is Bobby here. He's watching a football game. There he is with his brother Luke. Bobby, like Tiffany, both of them were very academic. Both of them had almost straight A's, worked very hard in school. They were very athletic and academic, had a lot of great things in their future that they now don't get. This is Braden. So Bobby and Braden were sitting in the back seat of the car, and they're the ones who went out the back. Braden did survive the accident. It was a tough recovery, but he did survive. Also, the passenger in the front survived only because he had the lucky seat in the house. Again, none of them were wearing seatbelts. He just had the lucky seat with the way the car rotated and turned with centrifugal force. So he did make it. I love this picture because Braden has a tattoo on his arm of a cross and a verse that says Philippians 4:13. He got that on his 18th birthday. He turned 18 while he was in the hospital recovering. So right after he got out of the hospital, he got this tattoo, and this is something that him and Tiffany had discussed getting done, and she had helped him decide what he was going to get. So it's kind of cool to see the tattoo. I took this picture directly off of Facebook, and I'll be honest, the first few presentations I ever gave, I wouldn't show the car. I didn't like the car. I didn't want to see the car. I didn't want to face the car. But I bring it now because I think it's really important. She had just gotten this car a couple of weeks before. Her father in Colorado had purchased her this car, and she had just washed it. June 21st, 2012, she says, "I love my car. Ha ha, I cleaned it." Question for you. How many of you guys leave stuff in your parents' car? You know, French fries, wrappers, gum wrappers, candy wrappers, come on, let's get honest. Okay, so did she. When she got in this car, she started getting on all her friends not to leave their stuff in the car. It was really cool. And those parents were sitting back going, I know how it feels. So she was very, very proud of this car. This is the road that they were on, Table Rock. Everyone knows Table Rock, right? Okay, the gated community, going up to Table Rock. They're on the left-hand side just as you get to the top. You've seen that. Okay, so that's where they were that night. It was a very rural road. As you can see, there's no lights. There's no lines on the side of the road, anything to really guide you, because it's just a small rural road that serves about 15 to 20 homes in that area. If you look real close, you can see skid marks that are coming along the side. Can you guys see those? It's kind of hard to see. Those are my daughter's skid mark tires, where she was trying to get control of the car. She went around that corner a little too fast and didn't make the corner and couldn't get the control of the car back, also because it was going downhill a little bit. You look at it and you don't see how that can happen, and yet it does all the time. Here's the car now. Not very pretty anymore, is it? So now look at those pictures. Look at where people would have been sitting. I'm going to go back. What do you think their chances of survival would have been had they been wearing seatbelts? Yeah? Pretty good, right? I'd say almost 100%. And the detectives agree. If they had worn seatbelts and they would have remained in that car, they would have gotten out and, oh boy, I'm in trouble. But they would have been alive and safe. September 9th, we had a candlelight prayer there at the high school. I don't remember who organized it, one of the fellow students of Bobby and Tiffany's. Somehow we managed to gather ourselves together that day. So this happened on a Saturday night at about 2 a.m. We got detectives coming to our door at 5:30 in the morning on Sunday, delivering this news to us. It is definitely not the knock at the door you want to get. And yet somehow that night we made it out to a candlelight service. We figured if the kids were going to put something on, that we should show up. The next day, this is Bobby's mom and I hugging. We're actually at the crash site. And we set off pink balloons for Tiffany and blue balloons for Bobby. A lot of family was there, and we just hung out there and looked at what had happened and saw the broken glass and all the rocks that the car had hit on the way down. And pretty traumatic, and yet something we just felt like we really needed to do and see for ourselves and try to understand what had happened and why. One of Tiffany's friends had made crosses for her and Bobby, which she made them by hand, directly from her heart. Very, very touching. Her and another friend went and put them up there. It's rocky up there, so it's really hard to dig a hole, but they propped them up with rocks. Here was another prayer vigil that I didn't know about until after the fact, so I don't know who organized it, but that was yet another night that took place of kids who love these kids, who spent time with these kids. These were kids that, just like you guys, you have friends, and imagine yourself if you were no longer there, and the impact that would have on your friends and family. Meanwhile, Braden's in the hospital fighting for his life. We just still don't know if he's going to survive. It took several surgeries. He was in the hospital, I believe, 8, 9, 10 days. Doesn't look like a lot of fun, does it? A lot of pain. He was also then in a wheelchair for a little over 3 months, recuperating. This is Bobby's service. I have to tell you that Sherry and I didn't know each other before the kids' accident. Us parents have never met. So it's pretty amazing in and of itself that we've become such good friends through this, and actually they incorporated Tiffany into their service, and likewise we incorporated Bobby into ours. So we wanted to honor the kids together as a team and for the community. And at that point, Tiffany and I had only lived in Boise for probably a year, 2 years. And she has 700 to 800 people in an auditorium just like this at Vallivue High School. So these kids make an impact. You guys make an impact. Now there's the crosses after people come and visited them and brought flowers, and a lot of people were writing on the crosses, as did we. Who knows what senior nights are? Okay, I didn't. I have one older daughter. She didn't play sports. I had no idea what a senior night was, but everyone said, please come to the senior night. The coach wanted us there. We have something for you. That was rough. This is a little over a month after the accident. They wanted to present her jersey. She was always number 3. And they had it framed, and all the other players have their cards and signatures, and then they drew a picture of them at the bottom. Beautiful, beautiful work that they did for us. Also, probably one of the hardest nights through all this. It was a very emotional evening and very hard to stand up there and receive gifts and whatnot that Tiffany should have been there to receive. She had asked me for senior night, Mom, will you bring me flowers on my senior night? Sure, if you want flowers, I'll bring you flowers. That's not where I take the flowers anymore. Bobby's birthday was May 3rd, so they lit up the lanterns for his birthday. We find ways still to celebrate their lives. The Bobby Strong bracelets. Did everybody get a bracelet on the way in? Awesome. Yay. Okay, so if you didn't, make sure you get one on the way out. If you need to get one for someone else you know that's driving and whatnot that's not here, that's okay too. Grab one. So this is really cool because some of Bobby's friends got together and they said, hey, we want to do something special. We want to raise money for Bobby Strong. And so that's how Buckle Up for Bobby really got started. It started with some kids in high school. And so what they did is they put an order in for these bracelets that said Bobby Strong. And we started selling them, I think, for $3 a piece, something along those lines. And they raised enough money so that we could buy full cages for the kids in the yearbook. So Tiffany's there on the left, of course, and Bobby on the right. But phenomenal, phenomenal thing for those kids to get together and do. So that's how the bracelets really got started. This is about you guys. Tiffany loved giraffes. I spoke about this at her service. She was 6'1.5". Giraffes are tall. So there was definitely some resemblances. Giraffes have the biggest heart of any animals. They do a lot of work, right? They have to pump all that blood up and down through the neck, right? She had a huge heart for people. I've seen her drop important things to her to run to be there for a friend every single time. So there was a picture of her in June, just a few months before the accident, feeding the giraffe here at the Boise Zoo. November comes along now. November 26th is Tiffany's birthday, and of course that's right around Thanksgiving, right? So as you can imagine, just 2.5 months later after the accident, those are really, really hard days to get through. Don't your guys' families get together for holidays? Everybody comes, you pig out, you have turkey, right, all the goodies. Well, that was pretty hard for us to face that year. So we took off to San Diego, and we actually went and fed giraffes in her honor, and that's what we did for her birthday, was spend time at the zoo with the giraffes. Meanwhile, in December, Bobby's family went to Hawaii. They had actually planned this trip long before the accident, and Bobby actually wasn't going to go. He was looking forward to going to medical school. So he had decided he wasn't going to go on this trip. He was focusing on his academics. He wanted to get great grades and get into a good college. And so they went ahead, and it was a hard decision for them to leave and think about trying to have a vacation, if you will, while they were grieving. But they went ahead and did that, and it was really a good trip for them. Here's Braden, he's recovering. Like I said, he was in a wheelchair for about 3 months. There's a picture of his sister there on his left. And he was nominated for 2015 that year. He's doing very well now. He's fully recovered from his injuries. He is in college now and doing fantastic. We still visit with him all the time as well. So why am I here? It's kind of a depressing story, right? It's not a lot of fun. But our goal is that we would have 0 fatalities through accidents. And I say 0 instead of reduced, because if I say reduced, and it's your brother that dies in a car accident, is that cool? Right? So we want 0. We want 0 fatalities. And if you're wearing your seatbelt, accidents are going to happen. We're all on the road. We're all going to make mistakes from time to time. Accidents are going to happen, but if you're buckled up, you have a much greater chance of reducing your injuries and surviving. Who in here is driving already? Awesome. Good. Okay. So a couple things I need to know. I need a couple of volunteers. You have a brave male. All right. How about you come on up, please? Okay, come on up. You might have to go around. And I also need a brave female. All right, the girl in the black. A man. Yep. Come on up. Okay. So these are our drivers today. Are either one of you drive these? Do you drive yet? Okay. How about you? Are you driving? You guess? Well, now I'm scared. All right, take a seat. Oh, okay, well then you better not be driving. All right, so I want to show you something. So I want you to sit down, this is your car. What kind of car are you driving today? A Ford, you're driving a Ford. Good dream car. What kind of car are you driving today? Honda, okay, she's driving a Honda. Okay, first, our male driver. So get in position, drive your car. Okay, how does the guy drive? Really? When the sticks out, walking around, you're looking at the girls. Are you really driving like that? How do you drive? So most guys are like, hey, yeah, man. What you doing? Yeah, right? Okay. There you go. Most guys will drive like this. Okay? There we go. This is how a guy drives. All right. Stay focused. How does a girl drive? How do you drive? Yeah, there you go. So she went in that. We drive like this. Right? Okay, so we're focused. Guys like, I'm cool. See my car? It's a Ford. So what happens in an accident for guys is, in an accident, you're either going to go up and over or down, up and over or down and under. So guys, because their pelvic is in this position, they go down and under. So their knees break. They have posterior hip issues. That cuts off circulation and blood vessels and whatnot to man's hearts, legs. None of that, guys, is fixable. You have your whole life ahead of you. Do you want those parts unfixed? Right? So you don't want to go down under. If you're wearing your seatbelt, guess what? You stay in place. So down and under, break your knees, have all those issues, not fixable for the rest of your life. Really take a second to think about that. You'll never go to the bathroom alone again. You'll never take care of bathing yourself alone again. That's pretty hard way to live. Girls, meanwhile, there she is, yeah. Whew. These guys are scary drivers. Put them in a driver's ed class. Okay, so here she's driving her car. Now, if I have cream cheese in my hand and I take it and I throw it on the ground, what happens? Right? It splats. That's what your brain does. So when she gets in an accident and she's not wearing her seatbelt, she goes up and over, head first. So she's going to suffer brain injury. So if she's lucky enough to survive, that front part of your brain is your impulse control and your personality. So if she survives, she's really not there anymore anyway. There is no way to fix that. It's not a broken leg. Once you go down and under, up and over, those things aren't fixable. You live with those for the rest of your life. You would be a vegetable for the rest of your life. Okay? All right, give these guys a hand. They were brave. For you guys. That's why we're here. That's why we're out spreading the message that despite how hard it can be to tell our story and to choke back tears doing it, it's worth it, because I don't want you to go through what our kids went through that night, or your parents or your friends to go through missing you and losing you out of their lives. Okay? Car crashes account for over half of all brain injuries. We talked about that. Splat, it's done. There is no fixing a brain injury like that. Almost 80% of all fatal crashes involving drivers happen in rural areas. Remember Tiffany and Bobby that night? Right? It doesn't get any more rural than that, really. They're in a rural area, so they felt more relaxed. You can see why they might not have worn their seatbelt that day. Because hey, we're not going out in traffic. There's no lights, street lights, or anything. There's probably not going to be any other cars. Why do we need our seatbelts? We'll just jump in, have a good time. Awesome, no lights. So they want you to know that wearing your seatbelt keeps you safe in the car 80% of the time. That's a pretty big deal. And I know for me, I watch the news every week, and not a week goes by that I don't hear of at least one accident where someone's been ejected out of a car and therefore has died in a car accident. And it brings me to my knees almost every time because I know how easily it could be prevented. I know my daughter and Bobby could have walked away from that accident had they been wearing their seatbelt. In 2012, we lost 17 young people in Idaho due to not wearing their seatbelt. 4 of them were from Mountain View High School. Scary. Okay, factors that lead to accidents. Speeding, right? What kind of distractions are going on in cars these days? Yell a couple out to me. Texting, phones. Girls, right? Radio. Putting on your makeup. Girls doing. Too many kids in the car. Drugs, right? Drugs, alcohol. Even buzz driving, guys, isn't okay. So let's think about this. Let's look back on September 9th. What was going on in the car? Tiffany was going a little too fast for that corner. She couldn't have made that corner. Okay, she wasn't aggressive driving, but distractions. Do you think she had some distractions in the car? 3 other people in the car. I know my daughter. I know the music would have been on, right? So there's a lot going on. And inexperience. She had been driving for a little over a year. She should not have been in that position in the car, on that road, and without a seatbelt. All those factors contributed to her accident. Okay? So what we're doing is we're out here sharing our story to educate you guys so that you guys don't have to go through what our kids have gone through. And even if you're not the one in the accident, let me tell you, it will impact you. There were a lot of kids at Mountain View who had a tough time returning to school for weeks afterwards because of their friendships, because they'd look over and see the chair next to them empty. Let me ask a real personal question. Who's had to endure that already? Anybody? All right. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You've had to go through this. And it's rough. It is really, really rough. Okay, we're also offering scholarships. Now here's the good news. We've got 4 $1,000 scholarships, and we've got 1 $500 scholarship. And the deadline was today. But because I'm speaking today, I talked to Sherry, and she and I decided we would extend it a week for you. Anyone here taking the Alive at 25 class? Raise your hands, anyone? Okay, there's some of you. Good. So if you're a senior and you're going into college next year, you can apply for the scholarship. You have to write an essay and have taken the Alive at 25 class. I didn't check the website today, but I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could get into an Alive at 25 class this week and get an essay into us. I know that's how you want to spend your weekend. It's $1,000, you guys. That goes a long ways for college. And the check actually goes to you, so you can put it towards living expenses, books, and all those things. We don't send it to the college. We give it straight to you. Okay? The other thing we're trying to do is just setting an example of how to overcome tragedy and how to make something good come out of it and not just let it go and be a tragedy all on its own. So some of the things we've done is we've done booths at Mountain View High School at their prom. We had kids signing a pledge to buckle up. We've done school assemblies. We've done things like this. We've done some team conferences, student conferences. This is one of the summits we did in Meridian. We've been all over the place. So go to the website and look into the Buckle Up for Bobby. And if you're not ready to this year or next year would apply to you, then remember this. Make sure you take our card out front and remember to apply next year. This also goes up to age 24. So some of you may have brothers or sisters that went to college last year and are going back this next year, and they can still use that scholarship as well. So Alive at 25 is required. Go to their website, check them out. Even if you're not going to do the scholarship, I would urge you to do this. Take this class. This is a great class. You're going to hear other parents like me tell their stories about losing their kids and whatnot. But the officers make the class a lot of fun. They make it interesting, and you learn so much through it. I guarantee you it is not a waste of your time. Here's some of our scholarship winners our first year. And then we had one more. This is Lindsay. She didn't come the night we awarded the scholarships that first year, and to be honest, it was just too tough for her to do because she was Tiffany's best friend. And it was just too much for her to come and be a part of that. So we met with her the next day and gave her a scholarship and spent some time over coffee with her. And she's the one who made the process. Bobby Strong Fun Run. We did this last year for the first time. We had a great time doing bouncy houses, we had raffle giveaways. Everybody dressed up. I think we're doing superheroes this year, so you can dress up like your favorite superhero. This is Bobby's mom, the the Bobby's run a 5K celebrating Lives Forever Young. So we had a lot of other moms and dads there too, and siblings that had lost someone in their family that came together just to celebrate their lives, and we let everybody write something out about the ones that they loved and hung that up, and it was a really nice thing to do. We had a blast. This year's event is on June 6th. It's at Tully Park, and it is free, so it costs nothing to come to a walk run. If you don't want to run, that's okay. Vlogs will all be there. I'll be taking pictures. I like to take the pictures of the goofiest costumes, so come and be goofy. And then outside of that, how are we moving forward? It's tough, I'll be honest. There is rarely a day go by that I am not in tears at some point because I miss my girl. So on the first year anniversary, we did a Happy Heavenly Birthday party, just trying to remember where they're at versus where we wish they were selfishly here. And that they're not in pain, they're in a good place. And so we came together, and again, the whole party was themed giraffe, of course, because that's what my daughter loved, and my poor husband, our whole house is themed giraffe now. How many people have negative views of police officers? Let's be honest, especially in the media now, they're just getting beat up, right? We've all been there, I have. Like, there's a cop, you know, I'm not thinking positively or kind thoughts about them. I don't want them to pull me over, and it's their fault if I get pulled over, right? That'll change this day. He actually came to our Happy Heavenly Birthday party. Officer Andrew Lynn was one of the first officers on the scene. He tried to save Bobby's life, and Bobby did suffer traumatic brain injury, so he could not be revived, and he died very soon after. And even though Tiffany, she had died of blunt force trauma to the chest because the airbag hit so hard on that first hit, so she died instantly. But he sat at the bottom of a 100-foot cliff and held her hand and sat with her for hours. It took a long time to get that car off of her. He didn't have to do that. He sat over her and prayed over her and just sat with her. So to say that that changed my respect about our police department goes without words. That's a pretty amazing thing to do. He has had a hard time dealing with this as well. This tragedy hits them too. They're not invincible. The things that they have to see are pretty hard to live with. And this has been one of those hard ones for him to move past. So on your roughest day with your parents, on the day when they're chewing you out because you didn't clean your room, or you didn't clean the bathroom, you didn't do your chores, or you're wanting to go out and they don't want you to go out that night, I guarantee you, they never want to visit you here. This is how we visit our kids now. And I hate it. Your parents never want to visit you there, even on the days when you think, oh, my parents hate me. They don't. Trust me. They love you. And they need you just as much as you need them. So I leave you guys with what kinds of things can you do to make sure that you're not a victim of something like this as well. I've got a bunch of drivers in here. If the phone is a distraction for you, throw it in the back seat. Girls, put it in your purse. Put your purse in the back seat. Whatever it takes to remove the distractions. Pay attention to the road. Even if you're on a remote little road like they were on, you must wear your seatbelt. They'd still be here today if they had just worn their seatbelt. And don't underestimate your value as a passenger. Are you being a distraction? Can you go, hey, dude, put your phone away, you're driving, what are you doing? My life matters. Don't just get in a car with someone and think, okay, I gotta deal with whatever they put me through. Say, put your phone away. Put the makeup down, put the lipstick down, put your seatbelt on. If you're driving, don't let anyone sit in your car without wearing their seatbelt. My husband's brother hated wearing his seatbelt. Stubborn men. Sit there, okay, we're not moving until you put your seatbelt on, and it would be a standoff. It's important to wear your seatbelt. It will save your life someday, I guarantee you. I want to thank you guys for coming. I know you had choices today, so I really appreciate that you came to hear our story. I appreciate that you take the bracelets And I'm sure there's some leftover ones out there. Take them and share them with your friends and share the story about why it's important to buckle up. Spread the word. Spread the word about the scholarships. You've got another week. Okay, and buckle up and arrive at life. Okay? Do you guys have any questions? We have time for a couple quick questions. You okay? All right, good. Thank you, guys.